Hi, I'm John Welpley and I'm from Innovative Cabinet Designs, and I want to welcome you to Cabinet Talk. In this video, I want to give you a warning. Never install your cabinets on walls that only have metal studs. This is a 25-pound weight. I have it attached to a nice thick chain, then I have it screwed to the side of this metal stud with a number 8 2-inch screw. This is the same screw I would use if I was screwing into a 2x4 or if I was screwing into cabinet backing. This is the typical screw that you use to hang cabinets on a wall when you're doing an installation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this weight. Probably not a great idea, and please don't try this at home. But I'm going to drop this weight off this table. I'm just going to slide it off, and let's see what happens if that screw can hold this 25 pounds. So let's go. Ooh, not so good. As you can see, that screw just ripped right through that metal. Now, can you imagine if you hung your cabinets on drywall and this stud was underneath your drywall and you put that screw through there? How long are those cabinets going to hang on that wall once you fill them up with dishes? So I put a screw in here. This is a 2-inch installation screw. This is the typical screw you would use to install cabinets into the stud. So I have the weight over here. I have just one screw and a chain. I'm going to drop this weight, and as you can see, the 2x4 holds the weight like a champ. No problem. So when you're installing a wall cabinet, you put 2, 3, or 4 screws. You can see how this could easily hold 100 pounds, 125, 150 pounds of weight. Now this is coming straight out wanting to pull the screw out of the 2x4. When you hang a cabinet on the wall, it's actually pulling down. So the screw isn't, the weight of the cabinet is not trying to pull the screw out of the wall, it's actually hanging on the screw. So the number 8 screw is thick enough, and in conjunction with multiple screws, to hold the weight of your cabinet. What is cabinet backing? Well, let's take a look at this wall that we created for training of our installers, and I'm going to show you. This is cabinet backing. It's a piece of 1x4 by 3/4 inch wood, and it spans between 2 studs set at the height of the top of your cabinets. Now, the reason we put cabinet backing in the wall is because we don't want to screw cabinets into metal studs alone. You want to have wood at the top of the cabinet where you screw the cabinets into the wall through the drywall, A, so that you have a larger area to space out the screws to distribute the weight of the installation. And B, you want to have something inside the wall that the screw can bite into so it doesn't shear out and cause the cabinet to fall off the wall. Now this particular backing in this example is installed behind the metal stud. So we're going to take a look back here behind the stud, and you can see that the backing goes all the way behind there. And then you have 2 screws in the front that are screwed through the metal stud into the backing, securing it to the stud. Then it spans across, and then this stud here, we drill 2 holes inside the inside of the stud and drill the screws through to secure the backing on this side. This would be done before the drywall's hung. This is done during the framing process in new construction. So when you go to do a remodel or replace your own cabinets, you may find that the backing is in the wall. If you're using the same height cabinets that the original builder used, then everything's going to line up fine. But it's pretty rare that you're going to use the same height cabinets, your design's going to be the same, and that the builder used backing in the same place that you're putting your new cabinets. When you go to do your installation, you're just going to see drywall. You don't know what's behind here. You don't know if you have metal studs, you don't know if you have a 2x4 wall. But if backing is put in there properly, then you'll have something behind the wall for your screws to bite into as you install your cabinets. So one of my new installers asked me, can I install a cabinet on a wall without cabinet backing? Well, there are circumstances where you can. If you have 2x4 stud walls instead of metal walls, the screw itself, as you screw it in through the drywall, through the cabinet, into the wall, is going to bite deep into the 2x4. And you choose the length of the screw based on how thick the back of the cabinet is and how thick the drywall is. So if you have a 1/2 inch hangrail on the cabinet and a 1/2 inch piece of drywall, you want to use at least a 2 to 2 1/4 inch screw. If the back of your cabinet is 1 inch thick, you may want to use a 2 1/2, 2 3/4, or 3 inch screw. You want to get as much bite into the 2x4 as possible to keep the screw from shearing out and causing the cabinet to fall away from the wall. The next question he asked, well, what if I get to a house and it's a remodel, the drywall's already up, but there's no cabinet backing. Can I still install them on metal studs? Well, no, you can't install them on metal studs alone under any circumstances. But there is a way to back up the metal stud with wood to make it safe to use it even if you don't have cabinet backing. Okay, we're finding the stud right now in this wall. Oh, we just found the beginning of the stud, so I'm just going to put a little arrow there. So let's go ahead and drill some pilot holes just to make sure. So we should, no stud there, no stud there, no stud there. There, now we hit the stud. Okay, so that's our stud. Between these two marks, and that's our center line right there. So I'm going to come a little bit outside this line. I'm going to use this paddle bit right here. I'm going to drill a small pilot hole. Then I'm going to put my finger in the wall, and I can feel with my finger in the wall that this is the inside of the stud. So I don't even have to drill a hole on this side. I found the inside of my stud. So as you can see, this is the back of the wall, and when I say the inside of the stud, I mean this part of the stud right here that I'm going to tuck the piece of 2x4 behind. Prior to starting this video, I figured out that this is the top of where the cabinets are going to be on this wall. So I know now that I need to have a piece of wood that goes above that line and comes down. I need a piece about 8 inches long to put behind this drywall. So I'm going to cut about a 6x6 hole in this wall. So there's the top of my cabinet, so I'm going to cut my hole slightly below. I'm going to come out and cut a hole big enough that I can tuck a piece of 2x4 behind the wall. Okay, now we're going to take our multi-master and cut a hole. I want to keep this piece of drywall to put it back over the 2x4 after I back it up behind the stud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a screw in it. I'm not going to push too hard because I don't want it to break and fall into the wall. And then, as I'm cutting, when I get near the end, I'm going to hang on to this screw and keep this piece from falling into the wall. Okay, there we go. It's coming out. Since I'm going to go through the drywall and the stud, I'm going to use about 1.5 inch screw. I'm going to use this 8-inch piece of 2x4. I'm going to bring it into the wall. Now remember, we took this screw right here so the drywall wouldn't fall into the wall. I'm going to take it out of the piece of drywall. I'm going to go ahead and put it into the 2x4. Just a little bit so I don't drop it into the wall. It's basically, as I'm positioning this, I'm using this screw to get this in position. Now in some circumstances, there might be a drywall screw in the drywall and it's pushing the stud away from the wall. So before you put the 2x4 in there, you might have to put your hand inside and feel for a screw. Once you locate the screw, you can take a screwdriver and just kind of dig through the drywall and then find the head of the screw and take your screw gun and unscrew it. Obviously there's no screw in my wall, but that's just an example of what you can do. There are no screws, electrical wires, obstructions in the way of our stud. I'm going to take my 1.5 inch screw and I'm going to drive it through the stud and the drywall and the 2x4 until it's tight and secure. Again, we want to go through the stud. Once the screw goes through the stud, there we go. Starts to bite into the 2x4. You keep torquing until it's nice and tight. Once you've secured that in place, you can put your drywall piece right over. And all you really need to hold the drywall in is one screw, just to hold it onto the stud. So that is how we back up each stud that you're going to hang a cabinet on when you're doing your new installation. So here it is from the back. You can see that the 2x4, if you look down here where it's positioned, it's overlapping that thin metal that the screw's going through. So now when you screw your cabinets through the metal stud, they're going deep into that piece of 2x4 there. The #1 installation mistake that people make is hanging cabinets on a stud wall alone. Don't let a recipe for disaster be the first thing you create in your new kitchen. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and thank you for being a part of Cabinet Talk.